This is the fourth video on the Indian skincare, and we're going to be talking about sun damage. How does sun affect the Indian skin? If you've been following the series, you'll know what the characteristics of Indian skin are. If you've not, please do follow because this is a continuation and you'll be able to make better sense of this video if you are following the whole series because there's a lot of data that's presented in the previous videos. So sun damage on Indian skin actually starts showing up in our early 20s. That means all the time that we spent outdoors in school or in college actually starts showing up. And the typical complaints that we have in our 20s is that there's uneven skin tone and the face and neck tends to be darker than the rest of the body. Imagine that's a result of sun damage. Sun damage shows up very differently in different types of skins. In oily skin, it tends to get even more oilier and it tends to tan much faster. The intense sun's heat can actually increase the oil production on our skin, which can lead to excessive acne breakouts or can lead to excessive pigmentation. It's good to use sunscreens which are not going to clog your pores, and I would suggest you look for ingredients that are oil or sebum controlling as well as pigmentation controlling. So for oily skin, look for ingredients like tea tree oil, look for green tea, look for niacinamide, look for retinols because niacinamide and retinol do control sebum. So you're going to have a better experience with that sunscreen. Now, if you have dry skin, the sun damage can show up by actually making your skin even more drier and also making the fine lines and wrinkles more pronounced. The sun's rays or the UV damage does have an effect on the amount of moisture that our skin is able to hold because it does dry out your skin a lot. So look for sunscreens which have ingredients like hyaluronic acid, have glycerine, have aloe vera. Basically, we want to trap in as much of the moisture that we can. Also keep in mind that the dry skin will not have the naturally moisturizing factors or NMFs present easily on the skin. So it's incredibly important that you moisturize very well before the sunscreen as well, because I get a lot of comments where they say, can I just skip my moisturizer and just use the sunscreen? Not recommended at all. It's good to look for sunscreens that are cream based and have hyaluronic acid, have glycerine, have aloe, basically humectants to keep the hydration locked in. It's also good to look for sunscreens which have antioxidants because that will really help in your skin being better positioned to fight the UV damage. Dry skin, all skin types need antioxidants in your skincare, especially in the sunscreen, but the dry skin can really benefit much more with it. Now when it comes to sensitive skin, what you'll notice is that when you're out in the sun, you'll tend to get a lot of redness, you'll tend to get a lot of blotchiness of the skin. So that has to be taken as your skin's inability to handle UV radiation, which also means that there's a possibility of the barrier not being intact or the skin being extremely sensitive or sensitization of the skin, right? So look at strengthening your barrier and look for ingredients that will be moisturizing along with hydrating and also protective. So we are looking at emollients like allantoin, we are looking at panthenol, and we are also looking at more physical barrier sunscreens. With all of this protection also, given our latitude and given the way our skin is, there is a possibility that we will develop some kind of sun damage or not despite best efforts. And also keep in mind that we are also a set of people who are kind of waking up to the importance of sunscreens, right? We established on this channel how important it is to have your sunscreens certified because sunscreens are not cosmetics. They need to be certified. The ingredients need to be studied and seen whether they are really effective in fighting off the UVA and UVB radiations. So apart from making sure that you're using certified sunscreens, it's also important to recognize how your skin is showing up the sun damage because the earlier you're able to catch sun damage, the better we are able to treat that damage effectively and also, prevent further damage that might take place. So how does sun damage show up? One of the things that gets ignored very easily is tanning. Tanning is actually sun damage that's happening at a molecular level on our skin. And we just ignore it and we just start putting besan and haldi on it to try to cure it, What you can do is calm your skin. So calming your skin can be done by using good emollients like allantoin we discussed earlier, or using good moisturizers so that the skin's surface is, the barrier is maintained. There are videos that are done on how to keep your barrier safe. Make sure you have a look at those also. Now when your skin is recovering from tanning, we still have to take a lot of care for it because remember there is damage. So stay away from direct sun continuously. Start wearing clothes that will cover your body completely or wherever the tan is, that area needs protection. Wear a hat when you're going out and make sure that you are wearing your sunscreen, reapplying your sunscreen regularly. The second type of damage that shows up on Indian skin is freckles. Freckles can show up in small children also, even at the age of 10. So, some skin types, especially if they're very fair, are just more prone to showing up freckles, which does not mean that if you are darker or warmer tones, you don't have freckles. It's just that they don't show up as much, because freckles are ultimately, they're a little brown and little, vary from between reddish brown to brown, and so when the tones are warmer, they kind of hide in the skin very well and don't show up very easily. So going to a dermatologist and actually getting your skin checked under a Woods lamp will give you a very accurate picture how much of sun damage do you really have, because it really shows up like a black and white photograph on your face, and they can show it to you. So I would advise that all of us do that, so that we kind of become realistic about how much sun damage we already have. Then there is melasma. Melasma is a topic I've discussed over and over again. Melasma can not only become more intense when you're under direct sun, but can also be affected by a hormonal history. Yeah? So not only protect yourself from direct sun, but also be conscious about the time when you're having a period. Your skin, because of all the hormonal storms that are taking place inside, can get more sensitive to sun. So being conscious about that helps in the recovery of melasma very well. The other complaint that you'll find of sun damage is something called hypopigmentation. These are white spots that will come on your face or might come on this area around your neck. They can also be, if you are used to wearing a lot of sleeveless, they can come over here as well. And these areas are generally lighter than your skin. In particular, these areas have now lost the ability to fight the UV damage going forward. So the skin is pretty badly damaged over there. It's good to start meeting a dermatologist so that you can actually start looking at laser treatments, because there is enough damage for you to now start looking at more serious treatments to undo the sun damage. Sun damage can be undone. It's not like it can't be undone. Definitely can be, but we just need to know what to do. And we're going to be talking about it a little later. Then there are solar lentigines. These are brown, dark, circular kind of spots, and I see them most frequently in between 45 to 50 years old people, and they're very, very marked. You can see them. I have one over here. I don't know if you can see it. It's right over here. Back in the day when I used to believe ki sun kuch hota hi nahi hai. So I do have that, and these are the hardest to kind of fade, but they can be faded. The thing is, if you don't treat them earlier on, they start getting darker and darker and darker, and so obviously, keep in mind that the sun damage is a result of years of UV radiation burn. So they're not going to go away in 6 months, 1 year. It can take longer. You'll see fading, but for it to completely go away is a long journey. And there are other signs also which border on the skin cancer, which is getting more frequent, but I don't want to talk about it in this video. Because it is not something that is very predominant in the Indian skin as yet. But please be aware that UV radiation can cause skin cancer also. It can also affect your genes, making you more susceptible to diseases. So it is real. Sun damage is real. So what can we do? So there's a 3-step protocol that we can follow for our skincare. The first thing is brightening. When I'm looking at brightening, we're talking about lightening the pigmentation, lightening the sun damage in whatever form it's there. The second thing we're looking at is improving the collagen buildup. So we are looking at making our skin stronger so that it's able to not only fight the new sun damage that might happen, but also recover from the previous one. The third one is to smoothen out the skin in terms of retexturizing it for wrinkles and fine lines, which can happen with sun damage. In fact, the UV radiation does dehydrate our skin, leading to fine lines and wrinkles. With all of that information, it's now easier to create your own skincare. Here are some of the products you should be looking for. Look for a good AHA, and glycolic is one of the best AHAs you can use. I think we've all grown from the fear that glycolic acid will specifically burn the Indian skin. So go ahead and use it. And remember, glycolic acid is still the acid of choice by Indian dermatologists when they're treating pigmentation issues. So go ahead and use it. And my favorite is the Pixi glycolic. I think it's worth the investment because it really gives you the good, moisturization along with the peel that you require for serious pigmentation. And you know how my skin is. So I swear by the glycolic that the Pixi has. After the AHA, the second thing you're looking for is definitely a retinoid or a retinol. Again, there are lots of videos I've done on it. Pick a nice retinol serum. It's again worth your money because Pigmentation is an ongoing battle. There's no point, trying to cut corners in this, because genetically we are more prone to it. So we क्यों नहीं, start good treatment as early on as we can to have better skin later on, right? So best retinoid, if you're post 30, go on Retin-A. It's cheap. Meet your dermatologist. They can get you started on it. It's about 500 rupees a tube. The tube lasts you easily for 6-7 months. You are done. Right? There's a whole schedule that you can follow. Your dermatologist can guide you. You can look at my playlist. There's a lot of information out there. Third thing you need to look for is a vitamin C. Absolutely critical. Vitamin C in the Indian skincare should be a staple, because apart from lightening your skin, it also helps build the strength of your skin, and especially good to be used in the AM routine, because vitamin C actively helps in preventing photoaging or UV damage or pigmentation on your skin. So definitely include vitamin C in the AM routine. Can you use vitamin C with your other products which have just a little retinol, say a moisturizer or say a sunscreen? Yes, you can, because between the two of them, there's enough in the formulation itself for it to not make your skin sensitive. If it does, then you know what to do. You need to back off and reduce the quantity or reduce the frequency. Also make sure that you're looking for at least 10 to 20% vitamin C and not less than that. My personal favorite is, of course, the Detox C. I'm also right now trying the Dr. Earth vitamin C powder, which I'm really liking. I mix it up with my moisturizer and use it. I'm using it only in the night right now. I'm not ready to do a review, but you can expect it to come in a few more weeks. Let me know if you've used the vitamin C powder from Dr. Earth and what your experience has been in the comment section. It'll be good to know. Also look at collagen supplements. So look at a high quality collagen, look at a marine collagen. I've done a video on India collagen that I'm using because I know it is very good quality collagen. Lastly, look at hydroquinone or kojic acid under a doctor's care if your pigmentation is really stubborn. Hydroquinone does have a down factor, but under a good dermatologist care, it is one of the best things to handle stubborn pigmentation. And not only that, if you're able to find a good pigmentation, a good dermatologist, good pigmentation, my medicine's really affecting me. Find a good dermatologist. You will also, the dermatologist might also put you on tranexamic acid, which is very, very good orally. So discuss that option with your dermatologist also. With the skincare taken care of, what can you do in your DIY home remedies? Now, DIY home remedies really work in pigmentation, at least the ones I'm talking to you about. Please don't go down the route of using baking soda, toothpaste, and just putting direct lemon. Lemon juice also works, but it has to be formulated to use it. And I know so many women who actually have used it for the last 30-35 years and have fabulous skin. But wo topic kabhi aur. But right now, this is what I would suggest you to do. Rosehip oil, almond oil, and kiwi seed oil. Pick the oil of your choice. You can also use all three oils. Now that I've shared my skincare with you where I'm using oils every morning, I'm so happy. I can use, there's so many oils to use and I can use them every morning, keep them for 20-25 minutes and then cleanse my skin and do my morning routine. So, that way I'm not tired ki nahi, I can't use oil today. I've already used retinol in the night or whatever else, right? So I've done a video on it, make sure you have a look. The other thing that you can do and is extremely effective is using licorice root powder. Use a little bit of licorice root powder. You just need a tiny amount, make a quick paste of it, apply it on cleansed skin, leave it for 20 minutes and wash it off. You don't see results immediately, but it's a long-term great treatment to have for pigmentation. Licorice though is famous in Ayurveda. You will find it as a part of all the Vanya herbs, all the Kumkumadi oil, the Nallipradi oil. All of these oils will have licorice extract in it and manjishta. So licorice powder is available on Amazon. I've been using this for some time and I think it's a very, very effective remedy which will help in lightening the pigmentation. Now, if you really want to go out there and further attack your pigmentation, you can also look at treatments that a dermatologist can do. Some of the treatments are really effective. I've again done videos with very detailed study on these treatments. You can have a look at that to decide what is best for you. But fractional laser, IPL, then high frequency are some of the good treatments that you can do. Now, thing is, these are expensive. So you may not want to do them every week or do them twice a month. But here is what you can do. Start with the skincare that we've talked about, do the DIY home remedies, and do these laser treatments maybe once or twice a month. Stagger them, because abhi aap charon taraf se treatment kar rahe hain. It's not like your skin is only dependent on the fractional laser bit, right? Or on the cosmetic treatment. And because you're doing a multi-level treatment, you'll get much better results. I hope that was helpful for you. With all of that information, I'm sure there will be a ton of more questions. For more on this, I'm going to meet you in the comment section.